Hi, I am Rajendra Kulkarni. Welcome to my channel Programming in C with RSK. In this video, we are going to see how functions can return values in the C programs. In the previous video, we have seen how values are passed to the function. In that case, the result of operations carried out on the data are available only in the called function. As we can pass values to the function, it can return a value back to the calling function. How it is done, that we will see in this short program. We have declared a prototype function prototype float mult into the bracket int comma float bracket complete and semicolon. This prototype is slightly different from what we used to do up till now. We used to write a prototype with void as its return value in earlier videos, in earlier explanations of the functions. In this case, now we have changed that void to float. We can write float, we can use int, we can use char, we can use a pointer. All these 3-4 entities can be returned by a function. In this program, we will see how a function returns the float value. We have declared 3 variables, assigned values to 2, and one variable is float x. To the float x, what we are doing is, in the function call, the value returned by the function mult will be assigned to x. In this function mult, what we are doing, we are passing two values, one of int a variable and another of float b variable. So the x we have used to collect the values returned by the function mult. Then there is a printf. It will display the value returned by the function on our monitor screen through this printf statement. This is the function definition: float mult into the parenthesis int a comma float b, and then the function defined. First, what we have done is we have taken out the values of a and b passed to the function mult through function call. Then another variable is declared which belongs to function. It is a float x. Then there is a multiplication, x is equal to a multiplied by b. Then there is a printf statement which displays the value of x in the function, and then there is a statement return x. This statement causes the value of x being returned to the called function, to the calling function, and it will be assigned to a variable appearing on the left of the function call of the equal to symbol we used in the function call. So this x of main will collect the value returned by mult function. This is the screenshot. In mult, a is equal to 20, b is equal to 1.5. This is the result of this printf statement. Then in function, x is equal to 30 is the result of this function, this printf statement, which is within the function. And in main, this printf statement gives the value of x belonging to main, which is equal to 30. So what actually has happened? The value of multiplication of two variables passed to the mult function is assigned to another variable x, and that variable x value is returned back by the function to the calling function, which is collected in a variable x in the calling function. So this is how a function return works. However, it may be noted that a function can return only one value. Whenever a function program or a function when the program in the function encounters a return statement, it goes back to the calling function. In this small program, again, we are trying to find out how two functions we can write. One returns a float value, the other function returns a char value. So in the main, we have declared char zz, then int num, float centi, x and y, these variables. Then the program calls the user or prompts the user to enter any number less than 35,000. That number is assigned to the variable num of the main, and then we call a function zz is equal to odd underscore even, and to this function we are passing the value held by num. Please look at the prototypes declaration. We have declared two prototypes here, two functions here. One is float. This float indicates that this function 2fhr, 2var, will return a float value, and to this function we are passing a float value. This another function which we have declared here is char. This is the return type of this function. So odd underscore even function will return a char variable value, and to this function we are passing a int value. So now in this call zz is equal to odd underscore even, we are passing the value of num, which is the value entered by the user from this printf and scanf statement, and the return of this function will be collected. The return value, which is a char type value, will be collected by a char variable zz in the main. Then there is a small logic. If zz is equal to d uppercase D, printf odd number. If zz equal to uppercase E, printf even number. So what this odd underscore even function does is it checks the value of num sent to it, and it checks whether it is an odd number or an even number. Then we are asking user, prompting user to enter value of a temperature in centigrade, which is assigned to the variable centi, and the variable x is equal to 2var into the bracket centi. This is the function call. So whatever is the return, whatever value is returned by this function 2var will be assigned to this x, and we are taking out this x value by printf statement. So it will be available to us on the monitor screen. How we are defined the function? Char odd underscore even int a. So whatever is the value of num will be assigned to a int variable a belonging to odd underscore even function. Then we have declared a char type of variable, res, it's a short form of result, and there is a if else statement a mod 2. If it's true, if a mod 2 evaluates to 1, it means the entered number by the user is odd, and so res result will be assigned with a character D. If a mod 2 evaluates to 0, that means the user has entered a even number, and hence res will be assigned with a uppercase E, and then this return statement will pass the value held by it or return the value held by it to the function call, where it will be collected by the variable zz. Similarly, we have written a toFar function. In this function, what we are doing is we have not declared any variable. A return statement is having a into 9 by 5 plus 32 expression, a into 9 by 5 plus 32. So the first this expression will be evaluated, and the result of execution of this expression will be returned by this function to the calling function, and will be assigned to x in the main, and will be displayed by this printf statement on the monitor screen. So what we understand from this program, we can use a functions like odd underscore even to return one of the two values. Even if we can return only one value, here what we are doing is we have possibility of two values being evaluated in the function, and we are sending only one value back to the calling function. In another function toFar, what we see is a expression can be returned into the bracket after return statement. First that expression will be evaluated, and whatever is the result of that expression evaluation will be returned by the function. A screenshot of the program when I executed it, I entered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a value. When prompted, the function returns E because it's an even number, and that even number is being printed by the statement in the if block zz is equal to E. Then I entered a temperature when the function, when the program prompted me to enter the temperature, in centigrade. I entered 43.2 as the temperature value. It will be calculated by this expression. The result of calculation or result of evaluation of this expression is 109.76. So what this function basically does is it converts the value of temperature entered in centigrade units to Fahrenheit units and return the Fahrenheit value to the calling function. We can also return pointers, but when we write a program to return a pointer, we have to take certain care And for that care, what care we should take? We should first know what is the static storage class in C. Let us see a program. It will give us a better understanding. Int mult underscore tab int is the function prototype declaration. Then there is a variable int a is equal to 10, I is equal to 0, and third variable b. Then there is a for loop. In this for loop, what we are doing is we are incrementing I value, the value of I by 1 in every whenever the loop starts executing, and when I becomes less than or equal to 3, when this I less than equal to 3 becomes false, the loop will terminate. In this loop, what we are doing is we are calling the function, and return value of that function is being assigned to variable b. So b is equal to mult underscore tab into the bracket a, and a semicolon tells us that mult underscore tab function will be passed a value of a assigned to it in the main. What mult tab do? It will return certain value which will be assigned to variable b, and the variable b's value will be displayed by this printf statement. So this every iteration of this loop will cause mult tab function to be called every time we iterate. So when I becomes 4, this will come out, this loop will terminate, and the program goes ahead. So main ends here, and it is the function definition int mult underscore tab into the bracket int x. Now here we have declared a int I variable as static. A static variable is a special type of variable, the life of which is up to the end of or up to the termination of the main program. In normal variables, what happens? As soon as the function ends or whenever the function terminates, all the variables within the function or within the any block, they die. But when the variable is declared as static variable, its value will remain intact till the main ends, and not when it will not get destroyed even if the function comes to its end and terminates. Now this int I is incremented here by this statement I plus plus, and then what we are returning is the value received by x multiplied by the value of I, and that return will be collected by b. The value returned by x into I, or the value returned by the function will be collected by a variable b. So in every iteration of the for loop, we call the function carries out x into y, returns the resultant value, it is collected by variable b in the main, and is displayed on our monitor screen by this printf function. What static int I is special? The first thing we should note is that when a variable is declared as static, its value is initiated to 0 on declaration only. We need not assign value 0 to that variable. This is the output screen. the screenshot of the output screen. What we are finding here is, in every iteration B is getting a value which is x into I, where x is 10 every time, and the value of I is getting multiplied by x and returned by the function. Now when the function in the first iteration I is 0, but it is incremented by 1, so x into y yields 10, which is returned to calling function where it is assigned to b, and that variable is being displayed, the value of the variable b is displayed on the monitor. When the function again, when the program again enters into the function, or when the function is again called in the second iteration of the loop, int I is already holding a value of 1, which will remain intact. It will be again incremented by 1. So now I is 2, and the return value is x into 2, that is 10 into 2, that is equal to 20. In this way, in every iteration of I loop, what we are getting is a return value x multiplied by I, where I is getting incremented every time, and its value is remaining alive. This I variable is not dying when the program comes out of the function. When the function returns back, the I remains and retains its value till the main ends. The speciality of the static storage class, where it is stored in the memory. There are certain types of variables which are stored within the microprocessor's internal registers, but it is static variable doesn't get stored within the microprocessor internal registers, but it is stored in the memory. Its default initial value is 0. So whenever we declare a static variable, its default value becomes 0. We need not assign 0 to it as we have to do in other variables. The scope of this variable is local to the block in which it is defined. See, this I will be known only within this function. This I will not be known to main. But what is important is its life is till the termination of main. So in this program, what we have seen, first I becomes 1, then it becomes 2 on second iteration, then 3, then 4, and then when the for loop ends or the for loop terminates, the program ends, and then whatever is the value or whatever is the variable I that is stored in the memory will be destroyed. So it gets destroyed only when main terminates. Now why this is useful? Let us see. We are now seeing how functions can return a pointer. In this program, we are returning a float pointer. So we had declared the prototype of the function float star. The name of the function is dv, which is short form of divide, and we are passing two float values to this function as its arguments. We have declared two float variables a and b and assigned with 10, 30, and we have again declared a pointer variable c, which is a float pointer. To c, we are going to assign a pointer returned by the function dv, and that returned value by this function dv will be displayed through this printf statement, where we are using star c, indirection operator star, which will display the value pointed to by C, and then the program ends. How the function is defined? Float star dv into the bracket float x comma float y. So x and y will be assigned with the values of a and b being passed from the function call, which are actually 10 and 30 in this case. Then we have declared another variable in the function float d. That d is assigned with a value of a division operation x divided by y. So in this case x is 10, y is 30, so 10 by 30. Then this printf function tells us what is the value of d in the function, and then the d address is written by the function by a statement return into the bracket ampersand d and a semicolon, and then this is the closing brace of the function. So what we expect? We expect the result of 10 by 30 as 0.333, something like that. Actually what we get is, in function d the result is 0.333, but when that value we send the address of d, and when that address is used for finding out the value stored in d through its indirection operator, we get 0. Why we are getting 0? Because as soon as the function terminates and returns back to the calling function, all the variables declared in the function are dead. So x will die, y will die, d will die, and as the variable has died, the pointer will send or return the address of d, but d has already been erased from the memory. So we don't get the value held by d, we get some kind of a trash value which is lying in the memory location where earlier d was created. Now to do away with this kind of problems, there is a mechanism of static. So the same program, what we have changed is only float d in the function is declared as static float d. So what will happen? Even if the function terminates and returns back, the value held by d will remain alive. The d will not die. All other variables will die. X will die, y will die, but d, after it has been assigned with x by y, the value of d will not die. It will remain alive, and when the function returns the pointer to d, which we collect in a pointer c, the return value is available to our program through star c. Indirection operator star is taking out the value stored at the address of held by c. What address it is holding? It is the address of d in the function. So whatever is the value held by d will be available by this printf statement, and now we get the return value equal is correctly in our function. So whenever pointer is returned from the function, a care should be taken that its value, its variable to which that pointer points should be declared as static, so that the variable will remain intact till the main ends. Here static variable is initialized to 0 by default and its life is till end of main. So its life is till the program ends. Now a small program, a fun program. In this program what we are going to do is returning a char pointer. We have declared a char star fun into the bracket int as our function prototype. Then there is a declaration of various variables in the main. Then the program prompts the user to enter any number between 0 and 10. That number is assigned to the variable x, to the variable x, which is initialized to 0 first and now being assigned with x, the value entered by the user between 0 and 10, int value. Then we call a function xx is equal to fun into the bracket x. This xx is a pointer to a char variable. Then we make a switch into the bracket star xs. So what this switch is doing, it will be, this star xs will be giving us the value of char value or returned by the function and collected in this xs, and that char value will be tested in this switch logic. What is the function doing? Char star fun into the bracket int x, static char xs is equal to a certain value. You can put any value. I have put no value here, so it is a space. The function tests the value through these three if statements. If user has entered a value which is bit more than 0 and less than 3, x is assigned with a capital R. Here if x is greater than 4 and less than 7, x is assigned with a L or character L, and if xs is greater than equal to 7 and less than 10, it is assigned with a character J, and there is a return of the address of xs, and xs is the address which has been declared as a static char variable. What is the output? Enter any number between 0 and 10 prompted by the program. I entered 4, and what I get is I got lily flowers back from this program. If you will execute this your program on your PC by copying all these statements, you will find the fun. It will return either a rose depending on the value entered by you, or a lily flower, or a jasmine, or there is nothing, you get nothing, and since the better luck next time will appear as a output from this program on the monitor screen, or it will, better luck next time will be displayed. Just try, have fun, and here we end this video. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Rajendra Kulkarni 7333. I uploaded many videos up till now, friends. Around 16 or 17 videos I have uploaded. which covers pointers, loops, functions, arithmetic operators, if else, switch, and many more. So please visit my channel. You will find many good and useful videos explaining the concepts of C programming. From here on, I will be uploading a bit advanced topics in C, functions returning point arrays. First, afterwards, we will see arrays, strings, structures, files, and functions using these data types. Thank you for watching and keep continuing watching my video. Thanks very much.